Hey, what's up? It's Bond. Let's talk about Mass Effect real quickly. Nothing monumental here, but something worth at least chatting about. They're hiring pretty heavily at BioWare right now, and I want to just give my thoughts on it, especially with some of the specific listings. Before we do that, if you like Mass Effect, if you like video game news and conversation and things like that, please subscribe to the channel. If you have your own thoughts about the video, hit me in the comments and hit the like button if you like it. If you really want to support this and all my other content, including a couple podcasts, some streams, and so on, please consider becoming a member of the channel. Let's get into it. Okay, well, here it is. Here's BioWare's careers page. We've got 5 listings here. If you're new to my channel or my content, I'm kind of an old school The Division creator. That was where I got my start. And before The Division 2 came out, I spent probably too much time doing this kind of thing. But I think it's interesting if you're in a situation where you're digging for any information about an upcoming game, especially a game that's years away probably, one of the most consistent things you're going to get to talk about is hiring. And here we have something that's somewhat interesting. We have 5 positions listed. We have environment artist, senior character artist, and senior level designer. These, all 3 of those are temporary jobs. I believe all 3 of them are listed as 6-month contracts. And then we have 2 permanent jobs, the senior environment artist and senior animator. We'll go into each of these briefly, but what is most interesting is that most of them mention game engines and actually mention Frostbite and Unreal. None of them mention a specific project you'll be working on. That's not uncommon. They've listed fairly often Dragon Age specific jobs or even Mass Effect specific jobs, but that was mostly their director positions, which makes sense because those people would probably just be working on one of those games. These are interesting because the 3 temporary jobs are almost certainly to work on Dreadwolf. As they wrap that up, we're expecting an announcement in June I assume, a release date and stuff for Dragon Age Dreadwolf. But what's interesting is that at least one of the temporary jobs even lists Unreal as a prior experience that they would like, which is interesting because if they're just going to work on Dragon Age, they really just need to have Frostbite experience. So take from that what you will, but let's look at each one of these very briefly. Okay, so the first one we have here is the environment artist. This is one of the temporary jobs. If we see right here, it's got the 6-month temporary role. So I'm under the impression in the industry that occasionally they list these just so there's no expectation, but it can turn into a permanent position, especially if these jobs are going to be focused on working on Dreadwolf. I would say there's a decent chance that after Dreadwolf comes out, if you've been a good contributor and it seems like you have a place on the team, when they're shifting everyone over to Mass Effect, which is what is expected after Dreadwolf comes out, then you may end up with a position that goes on longer. But often there's also big layoffs after games come out. And in more recent years, these temporary contractors are actually the ones that end up getting laid off. This is one of the ones that does not mention a specific engine or anything like that. It's talking about Maya, ZBrush, Photoshop. These are all industry standards. This means really nothing about the specific project. For my previous, kind of paying attention to these things, and there's no specific mention of a project with this one. Moving to the senior character artist, another 6-month role, another one that does not specify exactly what project you'll be working on. This is the one, I believe, the temporary job that mentions Frostbite and Unreal. My speculation on that is that there's a chance you may see some of these temporary people come in specifically to help on Dreadwolf to finish things up there. But I think, and I've speculated, there's a really good chance the Mass Effect devs that were helping with Dreadwolf are probably back on Mass Effect by now. And I would say there's at least a chance that some of these temporary folks are going to be used to help with pre-production of Mass Effect. It may just be like this, for instance, a senior character artist. It could be conceptual stuff for characters and aliens and so on for the next game. It could even be someone who would possibly be designing things for like vertical slices and even small snippets or demos of the game that they can use to set the stage for other parts of the game, or the kind of show like, hey, this is what we want the game to look like. I don't know, but the fact that it has Unreal listed on here as well as Frostbite makes me think that maybe some of these aren't only going to be working on Dreadwolf, but also could be getting some experience over on Mass Effect. Moving to this one here, the senior environment artist. This is not one of the temporary jobs. This is seemingly expected to be a permanent full-time job, which is pretty much a guarantee. This is going to be someone who may go straight onto the Mass Effect team to help with them, or may start off with Dreadwolf and then switch over. This is one of the ones I believe that does not have, actually it does. It has Unreal, Frostbite, or Unity. So they're just looking for people who have experience in gaming engines in general. But this one does not specify what you would be working on, and I suspect it would be both games. And then we have the senior animator job right here. Again, not talking about any game specifically. This is a permanent job. And then this one does not mention any engines at all. So it mentions familiarity with branching dialogue and RPG interactions and all of these things that would apply to either game, and very likely apply to both Dragon Age and Mass Effect for this position. And finally, we have the senior level designer, which is a temporary job. Another 6-month role, doesn't specify which game you'd be working on, and this one also does not mention an engine. So with all of these, you know, it's not anything that crazy. I don't think there's any big reveals here, but after, you know, the last year or so, I think it's interesting to look at real quick. So what does this mean in the big picture? Not a lot. This is one of those videos, and I'm going to make these here and there, where it's a stretch, it's a reach, it's looking for anything that's worth talking about. But it is worth talking about. The fact that, especially after the layoffs last year, that they're hiring in all these positions, it matters. It does, even if we don't really know why quite yet. It's a good thing. It means that, you know, they're still making progress. Those permanent positions at least indicate to me that there's some plan for big things, lots of things to happen after this game, you know, after Dreadwolf comes out, that they aren't just planning on Dreadwolf. EA is allowing them to hire for the future and things like that. That's what you want to see if you're someone who's worried about the future of BioWare and things like that. And that's a fair thing to be worried about with so many, you know, companies and publishers and stuff, you know, cutting back, you know, shutting down studios, doing layoffs and things like that. EA is not immune to this. We know this from last year, specifically with BioWare. And I think any movement here is a good sign. So I'm going to take this stuff as a good thing, and I'll be on the lookout for more. I'll make more videos about it. Be sure to check out all my other Mass Effect videos where I've done some speculation and some just theorizing and some analysis of this kind of stuff. So check out that Mass Effect playlist where I have lots and lots of videos now, as well as a couple podcasts I have, and even specifically a Mass Effect podcast. So if you like this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want more of this kind of thing and other gaming news and rumors and speculation. Comment down below with your own thoughts about this specific video. What do you think these hires mean? If you're someone more in the know in the dev world, let me know what these hires may mean. I'm very curious for your thoughts on that. I am Bon Diesel all over the place, including on Twitch and YouTube, as I hope you know because you're here already. And I have a couple podcasts, the Bonfire podcast, a weekly gaming news podcast, and the Mass Effect Hypecast, where I talk about the next game specifically about once a month. So that's all I have for this one. Until next time.